morning, I'm Danny Pike with you through till midday, and in the run-up to Christmas, which is Friday week, are you staying off the booze this festive season? What are your reasons for that? And what do you drink midnight on New Year's Eve when the clock strikes? How do you choose to see in the new year? Can a booze-free Christmas still be a good one? So I'd like your thoughts on that today. Please get in touch. It's 03459 570057. You can phone me. You can text 81333. Start your message with radio. My next guest quit alcohol 3 years ago this December after being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and having already watched both his mother and elder brother die from liver failure. Julian Kirkman-Page from Selsey in West Sussex thought he'd be dead himself by the age of 56, but he went teetotal and hasn't looked back, and he's written his second book on the subject. It's called One Less for the Road, Is There Life After Alcohol? Julian's with me in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning, Danny.
And plainly, there is life after alcohol.
Well, I'm now 58, so I'm glad to be here in person and say, yes, there is.
So you've outlived your own prediction.
I have indeed, yeah.
But tell us about that experience of losing both your mother and your big brother to alcohol-related diseases.
Yeah, well, they both died of liver failure. Both lived here in Brighton, so it was a local thing. It was a great shock to me, obviously, particularly my mother. I wasn't expecting her to have died of that. When they gave me the death certificate, it was a huge shock. My brother, I saw go down the hill. He became jaundiced, became yellow and everything else. But the most amazing thing, even that didn't make me want to give up drink. I still thought, I'm immune to this. It won't happen to me.
What sort of level were you drinking at that time?
I was drinking 2.5 to 3 bottles of wine a day. So a huge amount.
So by any reckoning, that's way over what you should be on. But you'd know that in the back of your mind, wouldn't you?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean, you work out for yourself. You know you're exceeding the drink level. But, but I didn't think I was an alcoholic because I wasn't drinking in the morning. I wasn't getting particularly wrecked or whatever. I was actually at huge capacity for drink. So I was able to cope with it.
But and compared to how you function now, what was the difference in how you were able to function in everyday life? Getting out of bed in the morning, being alert at work, whatever it was.
I thought I was functioning very well. It's only in retrospect you look back and you realise the impact it was having. Things like work. I now know that I was missing out on job opportunities. I'm a consultant to a company in London. They go skiing with all their staff every year and they'd never invited me. And I just assumed that's because I was a consultant. Now I don't drink. I get invited every year. And it was because I was a potential liability. And we can't have a drunk on the slopes.
Really?
Yeah, literally things like that.
But they would never say that to your face, obviously.
Never said. It's far too polite. They're a French company, far too polite to say anything like that to me. But it's only now those sort of things come out. And it's every aspect of your life. Once you've given up drink, you suddenly think, wow, like relationships with your family, particularly my wife. You suddenly realise that the impact that drink was having, things that you just don't see when you're busy drinking.
Tell me about that, more about how it affected your relationship.
Well, as I say, I wanted my wife to help, because I wrote my book last year, How to Give Up Alcohol. I wanted her to do a book as well, sort of the wife's tale, if you like, the other half's tale. And she refused to do it. She said, there are things that happened when you were drinking that you just don't want to know about, and I wouldn't want to discuss. And it's knowing that is pretty horrible in itself.
And she's still not told you those things?
No. But I've sort of teased out in my own mind the sort of things it was. I mean, I was never violent or anything like that. It's the sort of the nastiness, the fact that you don't have time for people. And when you give up drink, you have so much more time for everybody and everything.
So you stopped 3 years ago this month.
Yep.
How do you change physically when you come off drinking a lot of alcohol?
I thought I would have withdrawal symptoms, but within 24 hours, the booze is out of your system. I didn't have the shakes, and I was saying, I know other people who've written to me since and said they've had the shakes for maybe 2 or 3 days, but nothing other than that. But, I mean, within a few weeks, I'd lost 2 stones in weight. My blood pressure had come down to normal. My cholesterol had gone. I was actually diagnosed this year, told that the type 2 diabetes that I had, that can't be cured, has actually completely resolved itself. So I'm now not on any tabs for anything at all. I mean, my own life expectancy, as you say, I expected to be dead by now. I seriously expect to live well into my 80s. I'm incredibly fit, incredibly healthy compared to what I was.
Is this an odd question or not? What do you miss about having a drink?
I thought I'd miss a huge amount. I don't miss anything. And that's been the real surprise.
Really? Because I'd have thought, being sober, if you had a glass of wine now, it would give you that, particularly if it's a nice glass of wine, give you that nice little buzz. You think, oh yeah, that's okay. I enjoy that. I can put it to one side. Could you be like that?
No, even the thought of having a sip now makes me feel ill. All those sensations of the hangover, feeling sick, all that come instantly back into my mind. And so I wouldn't want to sip. I was at a black tie do this week with 1,000 people. There were loads and loads of wine on the table, and the smell of red wine was lovely, really, really nice. But I wouldn't have wanted to touch it. It would have made me feel ill to even have the tiniest sip.
Are you like the most boring guy at the party, though?
Absolutely not. The nice thing about the thing the other day is that anyone who'd said to me, "Oh, you're boring, you're not drinking, Julian," by 3 a.m, I was still going strong. By 10 o'clock, the first people were starting to pass out.
Yeah.
So were they boring? They missed out on 5 hours of fun.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, anything but.
But I mean, is it boring drinking the things that aren't alcohol? Because it's either water or some kind of juice or squash or a fizzy drink.
I thought so. I mean, I drink a lot of water because you can't really get bored with water. But if you're going to a pub and you keep ordering water, it does sound boring. But I've actually teamed up with a really great crowd called Club Soda, who are based in London, and they seek out pubs that serve a good range of non-alcoholic drinks. And one of the key things is to, if the pub doesn't have it, take some with you, some bitters. If you add bitters to a tonic, it makes it a really nice, refreshing drink. In fact, if you add bitters to any soft drink, it takes the sweetness away.
Right.
And makes it a really nice drink.
And how long before people stopped offering you a drink? Because if you're a big old social drinker and you were on 2 or 3 bottles of wine a day, then people will always be getting you a drink.
Well, you get the drink bullies, and you get people who do the, "Oh, come on, Julian, we know you. Surely, go on, have a glass. Go on, have a glass." But those sort of people, you need some really good excuses. And I had a few up my sleeve, and I've stuck some in my book. Things like, I mean, you could, if someone's bullying you, you could say you've been bought an early Christmas present, like a track day. So the following morning you're going to be up at Goodwood, you're going to be riding 3 supercars, all that sort of stuff. So no one's going to expect you to have a drink. So it's a good excuse. Uh-huh. Or you could say that the money you would have spent this year on alcohol, you're giving to a hospice or whatever.
Should you have to make excuses for that, or just tell them to shut up and go away? I'm not drinking.
Well, I'm now the stage where I just say, look, I don't drink, and people go away. But if you're feeling bullied, and a lot of people do feel very bullied, it is nice to have an excuse. So, yeah, I think it's important to have one. But no, you shouldn't feel bullied. And to be honest, there are some friends that I have that I don't see anymore. So, they're the sort of people who didn't understand, and they drink so much that, to be honest, they become boring because the same conversation happens again 20 minutes after they've already had it. So yes, there are some people that you probably have to walk away from.
Okay, so Julian's written 2 books about this subject. The first one was called I Don't Drink, How to Quit Alcohol. The second one is called One Less for the Road, Is There Life After Alcohol? This has just come out, so it's a nice title, One Less for the Road.
Yeah.
What are we going to learn from this book, the afterlife from alcohol?
Well, the end result of this book is hopefully it gets you to the stage where you want to give up alcohol. The first book's all very well, it tells you how to, but if you don't want to, you're not even going to pick that book up in the first place. What this one does, it takes you through every aspect of your life, using my life as an example. So things like work, health, money, relationships, all those sort of things, and gets you to work out for yourself what would be better if you didn't drink, or what is being impacted now that you do drink. And hopefully by the time you've got that balance there, you suddenly realise, well, why am I doing this? Why am I drinking? It'll also hopefully encourage you to the fact that it is really easy to give up drink, despite what you may think now, that you won't miss alcohol. And thousands of people have bought my previous drink, and they do write to me, and they all say, wow, we just can't believe we don't miss alcohol.
How many people, in terms of a percentage, are you guessing, have a really good relationship with alcohol where they enjoy it, they know what they like, they don't drink to excess, but they will have a drink because they enjoy the taste, the experience, the social side of it, the buzz you get from it? Are there many people who really have that under control, do you think?
I'd like to think so, yes. I do meet a lot of people who say, I have a glass of wine with Sunday lunch, and that's it. That's fine. Or some people say, I have a drink when I get home from work, and that's it. And that's fine, but there are a lot of people who will say that, and then if you're quiet, they come back to you and think, I actually don't really just have the one glass, I probably have a bottle when I get home. And they start telling you how much they really do. And all of a sudden you realise they do have an issue, and they've never really thought about for just how much of an issue it is.
That's the question when you go to the doctors and you're filling in for them. They say, how many units do you have a week? And nobody ever gives the honest answer to that, do they, really?
No. And the units thing is great anyway, because you can play games with that. I mean, I think for a male my age, it's 2 to 3 units per day is the sort of maximum limit. But because you look at that and you think, well, that's the average male. I'm 6 foot and fairly broad, so I'll give myself 5 units. And then you can look and say, well, everyone knows, like driving, you can go 10 miles an hour over the limit and you get away with it. So I'll go to 7 units. So all of a sudden you can double your without even trying.
And who measures their own booze in units? Nobody.
No.
Well, what's the unit? Who knows what unit is?
I don't know.
Really?
Is it a bottle of wine or is it a glass of wine?
Well, it's a physical unit, so I guess you could say it was, but I'm sure that would be incorrect information.
Yeah.
All right. And is this time of year particularly different? I mean, because everybody does dry, lots of people do dry January. I'm just wondering whether that's the best time of year to give up, is it? Because all the fun of Christmas has gone, and yet you're replacing it with what some people would perceive as a miserable month.
I think if I had now, someone said to me, why don't you give up drink now? And it's 10 days till Christmas. And I was a heavy drinker. I would not. I would wait till Boxing Day, because you got your everything's planned out. You got your parties lined up and all that sort of stuff. What I would try and do is cut down, and I'd certainly drink a lot of water with every alcoholic drink I have. But I'd planned for Boxing Day, knocking it on the head completely.
And what's the way to do that? Cut down gradually, or you could just one day say, that's it, I'm stopping?
I think, well, the only way it worked for me, and the only way it's worked for a lot of people who've read my book, is to give it up completely. The thing with something like a dry January is you plan towards the 31st of January. 1st of February, I'm going to get absolutely hammered. I'm going to make up for all this, I'm going to reward myself by getting completely smashed. Once you give up forever, you don't have that mindset. So you don't miss drink, you don't think about drink, because there's no point. You're never, ever going to be having one again. And it's a completely different mindset.
Okay, and how do you toast in the new year when you have something to clink glasses with other people on New Year's Eve?
I drink out of a champagne glass and I'll have tonic with some bitters in it. So it tastes really nice. No one really notices the difference. And I certainly won't miss it at all. At Christmas, I used to have champagne first thing in the morning, 7 o'clock. I used to have a glass of champagne. By 11 o'clock, it had been a bottle. And you'd already got that sort of, oh, God, I've had too much to drink.
And then you have a little kip at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you've missed a whole hour of the Christmas Day afternoon, haven't you?
The terrible thing, I'd always miss the Queen's speech.
You slept, blimey, surprised you're still allowed to be in the country.
I know, it's dreadful, isn't it?
All right, it's nice to see you again. Have a happy Christmas.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
To all of you and your listeners.
Cheers. Julian Kirkman-Page, and his new book is called One Less for the Road, available both as an ebook and a paperback from Amazon. And the previous book, I Don't Drink, find out the details at www.idon'tdrink.net.